Hello everybody, welcome to this week's video. I hope you like this new background. I'm trying to give you guys some variety because I feel like I film most of my videos against the same background, so I'm trying to do something different. As you can tell by the title, this week's video is a haul of all of the things I've got so far this holiday. I have got a few books this holiday season so far already. Most of them I bought myself, some of them I got for my birthday, and then I also bought some LPs, long play records, vinyls, whatever you want to call them, with the vouchers that I got for my birthday. So first of all, let's do the books that I got for my birthday. The first book I got is just a notebook, and I'm very happy because I love notebooks. It's the thing that I collect the most. So it's always good to have more notebooks, even though I have so many that I have never even used, but I love them. Then next up I have The Tales of Beadle the Bard by J.K. Rowling. I read this book when I was really young, and by really young I mean probably like 8 or 9, but I don't remember what it's about. I remember reading it. I think we even still own a copy, but I think it was my sister's copy. But anyway, so now I have my own copy. I'm gonna read it and I'm gonna enjoy it. It's also a really short book, so that's great. I love short books because it doesn't take me forever and a day to read them. Then the next book I got is Ken Follett's Pillars of the Earth. I have heard a lot about this Pillars of the Earth series. It is a really thick book. It is also very small type, so this book is incredibly long. I feel like this book is it's more than 1,000 pages long. This book is 1,070. Wow, this book is 1,070 pages long. So it's gonna take me a while to read this one, but my friend gave this to me for my birthday, and I'm gonna read it and see if I like it. I've never read anything by Ken Follett, so I don't know if I like his writing. Next up, I have Becoming George Sand. I know it says George Sand, but it's French, so you're supposed to pronounce it George Sand. She was a woman in the 19th century, I think. Yes, 19th century. She wanted to be an author, and she wanted to do all the things, but she couldn't because she was a woman, and women weren't allowed to do anything back then. So she took on the pseudonym of a man and wrote under a man's name. I'm going to read you the blurb because I don't actually know what this book is about. But Maria Jameson's life has become rather complicated over the last few months. Married with children and entangled in a passionate love affair with a younger man, the Edinburgh-based French professor is leading a double life that soon dissolves around her. Amidst the heartache of relationships ending and the uncertainty of being alone, Maria finds solace in and intrigue in the life of 19th century writer George Sand, particularly in her numerous and passionate high-profile love affairs, among them a notorious liaison with Frédéric Chopin. Immersing herself in the world of this revolutionary woman, Maria learns about George Sand and herself, more about George Sand and herself than she ever imagined. I got this from my boss at the bookshop that I work at, so she gave this to me for my birthday. I don't know what that says about what she thinks about me, but no, I think she just thought it would be an interesting book for me to read because I like to read books about writers. Next up, we're gonna do my 2 LPs that I bought. The first one that I bought, how do I best show you this, is I Capricorn by Shirley Bassey, and it contains on it the song called The Look of Love, which was from the Bond movie Casino Royale. I think she's the only person to have sung 2 songs for a Bond movie, or sung the soundtrack song, the theme song for 2 separate Bond movies. I think she's the only person who's ever done that. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's Shirley Bassey, but only one of her Bond songs is on here. And then the other one I bought was Joan Armatrading's How Cruel. It's basically it's kind of like a 12-inch single, except it's not because it has 4 songs on it, so it's like an EP. But Anyway, so I've got myself a Joan Armour Trading and a Shirley Bassey. Now, next up, I bought some books at the bookshop in the neighbouring town that were on sale. This is why I have so many, because they were all cheap. So let's shoot quickly through these. The first one I bought is The Method by Juli Zeh, I think is how you pronounce it. So let me read to you. Mia Hole lives in a state governed by the method where good health is the highest duty of the citizen. Everyone must submit medical data and sleep records to the authorities on a monthly basis, and regular exercise is mandatory. Mia is young and beautiful, a successful scientist who is outwardly obedient but with an intellect that marks her as subversive. Convinced that her brother has been wrongfully convicted of a terrible crime, Mia comes up against the full force of a regime determined to control every aspect of its citizens' lives. Sounds interesting to me. It also reminds me a little bit of the movie The Circle. I don't know if The Circle is based on a book, but the movie with Tom Hanks and Emma Watson. This, when I read the blurb or the synopsis on the back, I immediately thought of that movie, and I liked that movie, so I thought I would enjoy this book, so I bought it. Then next up, I have The Colossus of New York by Colson Whitehead. He's most known for his books The Underground Railroad and The Nickel Boys. I started reading The Nickel Boys last year, but I didn't like it. I just really couldn't get into it, so I didn't finish it. I read his other book that he wrote and published a long time ago called The Intuitionist, and I like that one a lot more. And when I saw this one, I thought I would give it a try. It is sort of a well, not really a memoir, but like vignettes and remembrances and memories of New York, because he lives in New York, and so it's sort of little vignettes about what New York life is like and was like and how it evolved and all of those things, so I thought it would be interesting to read. There's also non-fiction, which I don't have a lot of, and I feel like I need to read some more non-fiction. Then next up I have Caitlin Moran's Moranifesto, also a non-fiction. As the title suggests, it's a manifesto, except she calls it her Moranifesto. Caitlin Moran is mostly known for writing the book How to Build a Girl, which was then turned into a movie with Beanie Feldstein and who else was in it? Can't remember the other people's names at this moment, but yes, she's most known for that. And I thought this would be a funny read, so I bought it. Then next up, I have The Sweetness of Water by Nathan Harris. It was long-listed for the 2021 Booker Prize, so it's a relatively new book. I heard about this book on a podcast that I listen to, probably the only podcast that I regularly listen to, Books Unbound, which is a book podcast by Ariel Bissett and Raylene LeMay. And Ariel hauled this on there, and many other people have since spoken about it as well. It's a pretty popular book, so I thought I should read it, but it also sounds like a really good story, so I wouldn't just pick it up because everybody's reading it. I would only pick it up if I actually thought the story would be good. Let me read to you. Landry and Prentice are two brothers born into slavery, finally freed as the American Civil War draws to its bitter close. Cast into the world without a penny to their names, their only hope is to find a work in a society that still views them as with nothing but intolerance. Farmer George Walker and his wife Isabel are reeling from a loss that has shaken them to their core. After a chance encounter, they agree to employ the brothers on their land, and slowly the tentative bonds of trust begin to blossom between the strangers. But this sanctuary survives on a knife's edge, and it isn't long before a tragedy causes the inhabitants of the nearby town to turn their suspicion onto these new friendships with devastating consequences. Sounds interesting to me. If the Booker Prize people think it's a good book, then it must be good. Even though sometimes they nominate really strange books, but yes. Then, the last book I have to haul is A Tall History of Sugar. And when I just looked at these books next to each other before I started filming, I thought that they look awfully similar, because both of them have like two people looking at each other with flames. This one sort of just feels like a zoomed in version of this one. But yes, this one says, discovered amidst a tangle of sea grape trees, Moshe Fisher's provenance is a thing of myth and mystery. His unusual appearance with bluish translucent skin and duotoned hair only serves to compound his mystique. Equally feared and ridiculed by peers as he grows up, he finds a surprising kindred soul in the striking and bold Ariane Christie. But their complex relationship is fraught with obstacles that tear them apart as powerfully as they are drawn together. Beginning in the late 1950s, 4 years before Jamaica's independence from colonial rule, a tall history of sugar sweeps across a rural Jamaica, scarred by the legacies of colonialism, and an England increasingly riven by race riots and class division. And I checked when this book was published. This book was published in 2019, but I mean, it still feels very, very relevant to today. It's supposed to, start in the 1950s. So we've kind of been having the same conversations for a really, really long time, and it feels like nothing much has changed. Curdella Forbes has my interest, so I bought this book. And I'm gonna see how it pans out. I also like that these two are like really yellow and orange. I don't have a single book on my bookshelf with a yellow spine. I have one with a half yellow spine, but I just realized I don't have a single book that has a yellow spine. And this looks actually really nice. It'll stand out nicely on my bookshelf. Anyway, so let's see if I can pick all of these things up at once and show them to you. This is not going to end well for me. There's my haul. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, you can give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already and you want to see more videos like this or other bookish content, because I don't film hauls that often anymore. Leave a comment down below if you've read any of these books before. Tell me what your opinions are on them. Tell me whether you think I will like them. Tell me whether you hated them. Tell me whether I've interested you in some of these books, and let me know what other kinds of videos you'd like to see in the future. With that, my story is finished, and I shall see you again next week with my end of year tag, or my end of year summary wrap up thing, where I will talk about all of the books I've read this year, and we'll do some stats, we'll do some other things. But for now, that's me. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in next week's video. Bye!